Welcome to Pink Cheesecake Podcast, the musings on the pursuit of a happier life.
And we are a mother-daughter duo. I'm Stacy Lee, and this is my daughter, Madison.
Madison. Welcome.
Yeah.
Episode number 4.
I know. Can you believe it?
I know. How do you think it's been going, though?
Well, we're getting... we're not near 10 yet. 10 was
10
the goal.
Yeah. And I feel like 10, it's just might be better at 10.
Well, yes. Yeah. I just can't believe that we've even done 4.
Really?
Well, I'm a quitter, you know.
Oh, see, I do what I want to do. So if I say we're putting 10 podcasts out, we are putting 10 podcasts out.
And I'm a quitter. I like to quit things. I like to.
This is nothing to me. I'm like, only 4.
And it's kind of a big deal for me.
Well, I'm glad. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
that we're being consistent and doing this.
Good.
So thanks for this fun idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
So what's up today?
On
episode 4.
Episode 4. We have talked a little bit about, my Yale class that I was taking about happiness and how we just kind of want to find as much positivity as we can in our life.
We are in the pursuit of a happier life at all the time.
So then when I started taking the class, I thought this fits in perfectly to what we're talking about. I've kind of talked about as much as I have learned so far. So I kind of want to take a step and talk about something else.
Okay.
As I go on with my course, though, I might check back with you. I might check back with you and have some more things.
Yes.
Because I have like 5 more weeks of it.
No, that's so
you guys.
Great.
There's so much more
about the brain.
More about the brain.
Yep.
Go back and look at. I think episode 3 was good. Because we really kind of dove a little bit more into our brain and how it works.
We did.
And how we can really combat some of the things that it does.
Yeah, that we can't always trust our brains.
Right.
Did you say the word intuition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, go back and listen to episode 3 if you want. If you want to know about that. Because today is not about that.
Apparently not. I don't know.
We are going to talk about, we're going to talk about hard times.
Hard times?
We've never been through any hard times in our life.
No.
Our life is just...
You were being really sarcastic, but then for a second I thought you were kind of being serious because really,
no,
we kind of haven't.
Yeah, let's just preface this.
I mean, yeah.
Let's do that.
Good.
Let's do that.
No.
Because we don't even have to go into... our life really hasn't... Comparatively, our life has been very blessed.
Very blessed. I mean... Honestly,
please. No, that's. I'm so glad that you had that. That
to
realization.
Use that as a comparison from our last episode is when we say we've been through hard times. I mean, everybody's perception of hard times is individual.
Again, back to reference points. Hard times really are just based on kind of who you are and the situations you're in.
And they are real.
They are real. Everybody's hard time is real. We can't say, and again,
no
that we
judgment.
we cannot say that, they haven't been through this, so it really wasn't that bad.
Right.
That is not appropriate.
Never.
No.
Never.
So some of our hard times, maybe you might
somebody's
think,
blessing.
Right. You might think, oh, really? That's, but it was hard to us maybe. And I think that's important to learn though, as a person.
Right.
To know,
Yeah. So we don't have hard times where we have had cancer.
Yeah.
We haven't had debilitating car accidents that has taken anyone.
Yeah.
We have our houses have not been flattened by a tornado or a fire. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Our hard times are they're average hard times. They're like kind of everybody's hard times.
I think,
don't you think?
Probably. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just with a different flavor?
Yeah. Just with a different flavor. Yeah.
Just our hard times. So what are some of the hard times that you've been through that you want to talk about? Because is the goal in sharing these hard times how then we've healed from those? Or just our experiences through them? Or what do you want?
I think there's a couple goals, actually. The first one is maybe just to talk about hard times and how we've come through them.
Okay.
Practices of how we have been able to overcome some difficulties.
Okay.
Another thing maybe is to just talk about them, because I don't think people talk about them enough. And I think when people do talk about them, it is very one-sided. Well, it's sometimes it's just, no, what were you going to say?
It's very healing to talk about them.
Yes. So I don't think people talk about hard times in a healing way.
It also connects you to another person.
I need to find that meme.
Okay, you do.
Real.
But you said it in episode 1 or 2 that one of the biggest joys of your life is to be able to connect with someone.
Yes.
And to say, oh, I understand that. I get that.
Yes.
So in sharing hard times,
Yes.
that obviously does connect you to another human faster and obviously more intensely.
And I think if anybody knows me, like on a personal level, like even coworkers and friends, like I'm very open about things.
You are.
I'm very open.
You're shockingly open.
I'm shockingly
I could
open.
be too.
I think you are with certain people.
Yes, and I think I've probably tempered that the older that I get. But I could still choose to be very shockingly authentic, shockingly overshare.
But in doing that, in my experience, I have created amazing friendships and amazing relationships, and not even just a friendship, just a connection, even just like a work buddy, and connections with people who live out of state, even like. You have a lot to say about that.
Tons, yeah.
So this meme,
friends.
it says,
Okay,
I've built more relationships with people on being open about my struggles than ever could have pretending like I had it all together.
Of course.
So that just goes along with it. I like that.
Right.
So I think maybe just like talking a little bit about it, but
tell me about a hard time.
Oh, I'm going first. I always ask you the question first.
I know, but I decided to throw it to you. Back on you first.
Well, again, like hard times is not, I mean.
Do you want to just pick one or?
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Significant to you?
A significant hard time. Right after Mikey was born. I think that was very significant because kind of leading up to it, I've felt like I had I still have a blessed life and I did even through that. But I still had hard times during that. So I'm not saying that I had like a perfect life up until then.
No.
I had
We're just
hard times.
picking one out of the basket of hard times.
So I think, right after.
That was significant.
That was very significant because that kind of like changed the trajectory of.
It did change
so much of my life. But it was kind of, and my pregnancy was perfect. Like my pregnancy was just about as beautiful
first pregnancy,
and heavenly.
First baby.
First, yes. And it was, I think it was heavenly.
Yeah, you were beautifully
It was
healthy.
Heavenly. I felt happier than I've ever felt, more confident than I've ever felt. Did I say happier? What did I say?
You said happier and confident.
I'm so heaven. It was beautiful. So heavenly. Like I don't even know where to go. It was beautiful. I had a little bit of symptoms of, your heartburn and
a little bit.
Your kind of uncomfortableness. But I loved that though. That was my favorite part because I was just like,
because you were so aware of being pregnant.
And I was so aware, and I loved waking up in the morning knowing I'm pregnant, like knowing I was doing something. It was just the best. Okay,
growing a human.
Yes.
High five, growing a human.
My gosh,
best thing ever.
Love it. Literally, like the happiest.
Yeah.
So then, as we're heading into giving birth, Michael and I were just kind of all of a sudden felt like this weight of, wow. There is going to be another human here. There's a baby, and like it's not just the two of us. And it was just kind of like it was heavy. It was a very heavy responsibility. Reality. So anyway, we were just so excited, and I knew Michael was made for this. And now over the last 3 years, like Michael is just born to be a dad. Like if there was anything Michael was born to do, it was to be a dad.
He has excelled at being a dad.
Exceptional. Like exceptional.
Yes, I agree.
So we were so excited, but it was obviously anything new. Okay. So right after he was born, I don't know. Do you want me to go through
you had a very traumatic birth. Very traumatic. Labor was good, whatever. Long.
And you were there, so you know.
I was there.
Because honestly, you probably know the story better than I do.
It's probably true. So she had a very.
It's just traumatic.
It was a regular labor, but it just wasn't progressing. But it was the delivery that ended up being very traumatic.
It was very quick. It was very traumatic. It was very confusing.
Very confusing.
It was very just
a lot of decisions had to be made very, very quickly. And so Madison ended up having a forceps delivery in 2000.
What year was he born?
2016, which, you don't hear of anymore.
We're not going to go into all the details because that is like one detail out of the many that happened.
Yeah. So if you want to know more about that another time, private message somebody.
Please let me know. I will tell you everything. That is like a sliver of it, just so you know.
But you can imagine anybody who hears forceps nowadays, bells are going off.
And he was 10 pounds.
At the Mayo. He was 10 pounds. He was upside down. There was
lots of complications.
Hard to get him out.
Yeah.
Let's just go there.
He didn't want to come out, basically.
He was very comfortable and happy. So after he was born, you had immediately, physically, you were in shock. Your body.
Yeah, my body went into shock. I was shaking.
Hemorrhaged.
I was
quite a bit.
Yep. My hemoglobin was 8.5, something like that.
Passed out a couple of times.
I fainted. I couldn't quite get in the wheelchair. I hadn't eaten. There was lots of, and I was still, I was, unfortunately, they gave me oxy.
On a very empty stomach.
It was a whirlwind of just bad.
And
then those 3 days, more bad
at the
things
hospital
happened to
me.
And just added to it. It was just, anyway.
So I'm precursoring that to,
because that's
then what happened when you went home?
Right,
and
so
what
I go home, I can't walk, I can barely sit down. No, they sent me home with basically nothing to take care of myself.
No.
In the middle of winter. Literally, we gave birth during a blizzard. We drove home. It was sunny when we drove home, but it was a blizzard every weekend then.
In a December baby.
Yeah. So I was stuck at home trying to learn how to breastfeed and all of that. I mean, it was just not easy. But again, yes.
And by herself.
Yeah.
Because I was 2.5 hours away with a job.
Yeah.
A job that I had to go to every day, 5 days a week. I had to go to that job.
Yeah.
Or we didn't eat or pay mortgage.
Right.
And this was just a handful of years ago. And it was horrible. Madison had nobody.
So I will say, Michael did stay home for two weeks.
Well, Michael, yes, but no other female is what I'm saying.
Right.
You had nobody, and it was not the way to do it.
No. I honestly would not have survived, though.
Biggest regret of my life, not quitting my job.
If Michael hadn't taken those 2 weeks off. I did not change a diaper for 2 weeks.
No, I know.
I couldn't get myself in and out of the bathtub. I couldn't dress myself.
Michael was
nothing. Yes. So then but again, I'm using all these practices staying positive, know? But then my brain was playing these weird tricks on me, and I started having really weird thoughts about being a mom and weird thoughts about what happened? Because I think my body was still in shock from the delivery.
Absolutely.
So then when I would have a flashback, it didn't seem like it was a real thing. And then I would be sitting on my couch in intense pain, thinking, what happened?
You went through a trauma.
And then I would look at Mikey in the swing and I'd say that's my baby. How did I have my baby? And then I was like, oh, I was pregnant. My brain was so
hijacked.
It was, and it was almost like one of those scenes in a movie where it was and then it would have a scene and then it would show something else.
Wow.
So I would sit on my couch and I would piece together the last couple of weeks in my life. My brain was not healthy.
You had no control over what was happening.
No, it was just and I think now I know it was just my absolutely disoriented hormones.
It was trauma and hormones.
Yeah, and my hormones were just all over the place, and they didn't know what to do. My pain was intense. They didn't know where to go.
Yes,
I didn't know how to comfort myself at this point because now I'm a mom and I'm supposed to be breastfeeding, and my body was calling out to him, right? He's calling out to my body. So then my
body's trying to heal.
My body's trying to take care of myself. So I didn't even. It was just very odd. I still don't even know all the depths to that first couple weeks. But then after a while, I was noticing I was just crying a lot, just really teary. And one day my in-laws were coming over and I could not stop crying. Oh. And I called Michael and I was like, Michael, I was bent over the kitchen counter crying, just bawling.
Oh, you poor thing.
And this was maybe 2 weeks postpartum, maybe 3. And he was like, well, he was away. He was getting groceries or something. And he said, I can tell them not to come. And I said, what? No, not even they're on their way. They're coming. And so I stopped crying, but I felt like I had 6 hours worth of tears left. Like I felt so. Yep. But again, what was there to cry about? I had the most beautiful, healthy
baby who survived this traumatic birth. The miracle.
It's a miracle. Let's talk about that.
That child survived that birth.
And
yes,
nothing happened to him.
Nothing happened to him.
So I knew. So again, I knew. My brain knew there's nothing to be sad about. I was sad that I wasn't really healing the way I wanted to, but I knew, like that. But I was just anyway. So I went to the doctor and they were like, "Oh, you probably have a little bit," but I took the little quiz. Postpartum depression, not so much, because again, I knew it was mostly anxiety. So she was like, there's just a lot of anxiety. You have probably postpartum anxiety, and you have a lot of worries, and I was constantly worried that something would happen to Mikey. So a lot of it was just worry about him, and just that constant anxiety of then what would have happened if the delivery had gone different. Oh. And so then I had flashbacks of that. Like, I wish it was different. I wish it was different. Why did that happen to me? Why did I let that happen?
Why were you a victim to this horrible labor?
And then just all these questions, and then of course it doesn't do you any good to ask yourself that,
because you can't change anything.
No, but you can't really help it in the depth of winter all by yourself, So anyway, so I struggled with postpartum anxiety, and honestly, I don't think that my hormones realigned for close to 24 months.
Was 2 full years?
It was very close. I struggled then with like effects of my new normal.
Yes.
And it was just not good. It wreaked havoc on my marriage. It was just because I didn't know who I was anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So it was.
But it had nothing to do with Mikey.
No, it was really interesting. It never had anything to do with him. It was just the way my body reacted, I think. And then with my low hemoglobin, with not knowing, I wasn't even eating properly.
No.
I couldn't go to the grocery. I didn't even know how to cook. I was breastfeeding 24 hours a day. Like, there was a lot of...
And you had no support. Michael.
Yeah.
But that's one man.
Right.
Who did have to go back to work.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, he supported me 100% through every decision I made. I wouldn't have survived it without him. No. 100%. Like, he did above and beyond what a dad or father is expected. I don't know if there's... But he did. I mean, beyond what I expected, I guess I should say. So...
So 24 months, you kind of came out of it.
Yeah.
How do you feel now,
it was a journey.
36, 40 months after this? How do you feel when you look back on that? Do you feel like...
Oh, I feel sad.
You do?
Yeah, I feel sad that those years were sad years, because they were sad for me.
Okay.
I think that they could have been so much better with Michael and I trying to learn how to be parents together. But there's really nothing
you couldn't have done anything. Well, there's tons of things we could have done differently.
Now we know.
Now we know
what to expect and how I can take care of myself next time.
And we will have meals coming too. I do not have a job where I have to be
There will be a lot of differences.
Every single day I will be able to move in.
But when I think of that time, I'm kind of just like, oh, that could have been.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But definitely it makes me sad.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a follow-up to this Hard Times podcast? We're just sharing hard times?
I have a bunch of questions for you regarding it, but I want to know yours.
Oh, so how did you resolve this? Just your hormones finally came into check and you started taking supplements?
I started taking some supplements
that you love.
I noticed in 3 days.
Yeah, you should be an ambassador for that company.
My anxiety.
And it's not an MLM.
No, it's not. It's just, and like maybe they can sponsor us, but they can sponsor.
They should sponsor, because
seriously,
she has an ad on Facebook for this company.
No, it's a review.
It's a review, and they put it on Facebook all the time. The company's name is Flo, F-L-O, and it's a little pink gummy,
my life.
And it saved her life. And her testimony or her review is used in their advertising all the time.
Use it all the time.
It says Madison N.
Madison N.
And she's had like 3,000 comments or something.
Some people like tag me in it, because then you tag me in it, and they're like, "Does this really work?" And then I give my whole little spiel.
So you're better because of that.
Absolutely, I really do think it's better. But also, like, you know, I did a little bit of counseling with a family friend that was really good. It was really good to help my mind set with healing and the Lord.
Yes.
That was really good. And I think that really sped up my healing.
Good.
Truly. Physically, my healing, there was no reason why my healing was so quick.
No, you did do a little bit of physical therapy.
I did a little bit of physical therapy, but there was no reason why. It was a miracle.
You are right.
So but then definitely like setting my hormones up for success. Just set my body back to normal.
Wouldn't every woman want to set their hormones up for success?
Just be right back to where.
Oh my gosh. How do we campaign that? That's a great sentence.
And that was, like I said, I know it's within 3 days. And I was like, okay, I think I can handle this. So now I'm a lot more mindful. And I think like just even communication wise, but it didn't really hurt like my mothering. It didn't hurt my, it was my marriage. It really took a toll because as instead of trying to communicate with each other where we knew each other, I became a different person.
Yeah. Yes.
So it became very like just a night and day with figuring out. Right. And then of course, Michael dealing with like my kind of irrational, thought
processes. Yeah.
And he was just, again,
saint.
Yeah. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Michael wears a cape.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So, I've come out of it, for a while now.
Yeah.
But that even makes me, again, like more grateful just to be normal.
Right. Because it was so hard.
Yeah. Someone was like, oh, you take such a joy in the simple things. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like just a simple thing to like have, even when Michael and I like we don't fight or like if we, a conversation that could turn into an argument. I'm so proud of it that we just have a conversation. Yes. I'm like, just a good, normal conversation. I'm so proud.
I have to say, Tom, and I feel that way about my marriage.
Yeah.
It just in the last handful of years.
Yeah.
Tom and I, it's taken 30 years. But we finally have come to a point where we don't have to have a knockdown, drag out argument for days anymore.
Right.
Now things can be said and then they can be forgotten. I didn't think we could ever get to that place.
Yeah.
I thought, because Tom and I, like everyone in our family, is
very strong personalities.
Very passionate, strong.
And that's the problem, I think.
People.
It's not that we like want to fight. It's not that we want to have arguments. It's not like we hate each other. We just, everything that we say with such
We are very enthusiastic, passionate.
Yeah. And
Scandinavian people.
For some
I don't
reason.
know why.
It's like we're
not Italian. I don't know why.
But and then I married someone exactly the same. Yeah. So
yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all very passionate.
But you're proud of that, right? When you have that conversation, you're like, oh wow, we did a good job. Wow, yeah, it's not that bad.
No, it's amazing. It's weird. Yeah.
So maybe now share something, maybe like I'm having
a hard time with that today.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay.
Because that hard time you just said is really hard. It was real.
You've had some pretty hard times.
Well, then give me an example of one that you think.
Well, okay, so let's just talk about seasons of life, right? Because a lot of the time when we were going through some stuff, when we moved. Yeah, or even like...
I always think way back to when we first had kids, we lived in a 600 square foot cabin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We bought a 600 square foot cabin on a river in the middle of nowhere after my husband and I got married. Beautiful for newlyweds, and then we happened to have 3 children in this teeny tiny cabin, and we were there for 13 years. So I raised 3 kids in a tiny cabin, barely 2 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms didn't even have a door. I had to go outside to do laundry for the first 7 years of being in that house. I had to go outside onto a deck and carry the laundry down.
In the middle of winter,
down into the walkout basement of this cabin. And I'll tell you, I never complained. I didn't care because I knew that's just where my laundry was. I didn't have to go to the laundromat. I just had to go outside. And I did cloth diapers.
Oh my God.
For everybody. And so I put the cloth diaper pail outside on the deck. So I was carrying frozen wet diapers down the icy steps. And I remember dumping frozen, pea-soaked cloth diapers into a steaming hot washing machine. And then I would put vinegar and borax and tea tree oil to wash So I even did cloth diapers and I hung them on the line in the summer. I added a lot of extra work to what I did, but I loved the extra work because.
So is this a hard time?
This is a hard time turned into a really fun time.
I'm like, this kind of sounds like a dream come true.
This is a hard time. So some people would say that was a really hard time. I have a hard time with hard times because we have been so blessed by God.
Okay, yes, we have. That's, yeah.
So my husband, I mean, a lot of times I had kids, I didn't have a car. I mean, is that a hard time?
Okay.
Yeah. Did we survive it? Yeah. Did I drive around in a huge station wagon that somebody gave us and it didn't have a speedometer? Yeah. Did every car I had raising kids given to us from someone at church because we were so poor? Yeah. Okay, but
we've still been blessed. Yeah.
we're still blessed. Did I have a leaky roof on my 600 square foot flat roofed cabin that leaked for years and years?
Buckets
And
around it every Christmas.
we hung ice cream buckets from the ceiling to collect it.
No, they would be on the floor and we would not trip over them.
Remarkably, yep. I mean, talk about comparison. I didn't compare myself to anyone, and I knew.
So my question is,
what
if you had Instagram? And
back
what if,
then?
Yeah. Like, just imagine yourself.
But it doesn't matter because I had regular friends who weren't like us.
Right, yeah.
We were the poorest people of everybody.
Yeah.
And my husband worked hard, so that really was not it at all.
No.
It was where we lived and the type of job he did, and the fact I decided not to work. I stayed home with the kids to homeschool.
It was all
them. It was all kind of by choice that we lived that
lifestyle,
poor, right? But I had lots of friends that actually had really good jobs and had very nice homes and had heat and air conditioning and countertops and roofs that didn't leak and in a laundry room they didn't have to go outside. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would have affected me because I was very happy and people loved us.
Yeah, people loved coming over.
People loved coming to our cabin on the river because they loved us. And that's kind of why I always say I don't cook. Because people don't come to a holiday at my house for the food.
Yeah.
You come over to our house for people.
Yeah.
People over food.
Yeah.
Boy, this is a hard one for me. I don't want to talk about hard times today.
Oh.
And, okay, pick another one. I'll just fix it though.
Well, they all kind of have to go with that though. Like,
okay.
Well, maybe we can switch it up a little bit really quick. Sympathy and empathy.
Oh,
so
huge.
This is kind of where I'm going with it a little bit. Okay. Is how important is that to you? Like, what's the nicest thing there's two questions. What's the nicest thing you've done for somebody going through hard times? And what's the nicest thing someone has done for you? How has someone been there for you that really sticks out?
Okay, this is so funny that you asked this because all of a sudden I flashed, you're going to die. Okay, it's the same.
So this podcast brings out all these memories.
It's the same answer to both questions.
Really?
Revolves around a pair of pants. Sit on that for a second.
Oh, I'm trying to put the pieces together.
So I had a friend.
Pants?
Yes, who I was in a La Leche League support group after.
Not Dum Suckers?
Stop it. Nobody knows. And now that's an inside joke. No.
I'm sorry. We'll tell the story another time.
We'll tell that story another time. I was a La Leche League breastfeeding counselor for a number of years. And so I did have a small group of women that we met together and had little kids together and did things. And this woman was going through a hard time, even though we were way much poorer than she was, but she was having some marital difficulties and her husband was not going to allow her to buy new pants. Just as simple as that. Okay. She needed some new pants. And she told me this story and that her husband, which she ultimately divorced because there was abuse in that marriage. I went home and I told Tom, and Tom said, well, Stacey, we have to buy her a pair of pants.
Right. Yeah. That's like immediately. I'm like, you just go buy
and this is new in our marriage. Our kids are little. we really don't have any money. We're not really even tithing at the time at a church. I don't really know. And I said, well, Tom, we can't afford to buy her a pair of pants. He goes, yes, we can buy her. Her husband won't let her have pants. Yes, we're going to buy her a new pair of pants.
Yeah.
So I then, next time we met in our small group, I was able to give her $30. I don't know what it was. And that was a huge amount of money for us at the time.
Yeah.
And said, here, get yourself some pants. And she just bawled and bawled and bawled. Okay.
That's so beautiful.
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
and that was the first time that I remember giving to someone, knowing that I had the ability to give to someone.
Right.
I didn't know.
Well, and I like that you guys just made the decision, like, yes.
Without thinking. There was no, it was Tom, and it was Tom more than me even, going,
of course we can.
Get the woman a pair of pants.
Yeah.
Her husband's a, you know what, we'll get her some pants.
Right.
Okay. So then the next question was, what's the nicest thing anyone did for me? Well, there's a billion. So if you're listening.
A lot. Like, as a child, let me just say.
Oh, yeah.
Like, growing up and seeing the blessings from other people onto our family.
And I don't think there were pity.
No, I don't think so either. It was really
genuine.
Like, it was genuine. And it wasn't even over the top.
No.
It was just very
It wasn't
like,
patronizing.
No, it was very small. Like, oh, you need this? Okay. I can help you. It's just inspired me a lot. And I think it's made me a really generous person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were,
like, if I could give all of my money,
we were the poor home family, meaning not just poor in financial, but I remember our youth pastor, I know you're listening. He said to his wife one day he goes, oh, what are those homes going to do?
What?
Well, those poor 3 kids in a 600 square foot cabin. What is that family going to do?
Oh,
and I thought,
funny.
Tom and I never even thought, what are we going to do when you guys became teenagers? We just lived our life. Okay. So the nicest thing. Okay.
Oh my gosh. That's such a funny, like, I cannot imagine living day to day like that. Michael and I are planning like 10 years into the future.
Okay.
Like,
Well, we did. Okay. So again, preface it with all of you people listening who have done beautiful things for me. Trust me, I know and I'm aware and thankful for all of them. One is just really stands out because it was surprising to me. So my third birth was very traumatic. I think we talked about it in one of the podcasts. I had a pretty bad C-section and got him out, but I had also been cut in other places. It was a really traumatic birth experience to try to get this 10-pound baby out of me. And I...
We like to grow 10-pound babies.
We love growing...
They just like don't want to show up.
We just can't get them out, but we really like growing them. And we grow them well.
Yeah, they're so cute.
We do.
Okay, anyway, keep going.
Okay, that's funny, Madison. It was a friend, a very, very, very dear friend who was at the hospital with me a lot, who actually helped me discharge from the hospital while my husband had to go to work. Well, it was her mother that came over about a week after I had my third baby, Mac, and I had 2 toddlers at home and this newborn, and I could not recover. My body was wrecked, and I had lots of people from church. I had lots of food coming in. I had a lot of support on that baby. Yeah. We were pretty established in church, and we had a lot of friends. She brought me over a pair of the softest, most beautiful velour, fluffy sweatpants.
Yeah.
Because my cesarean scar was so intense. It was the second one that I had. And the act and the kindness, the gesture from a friend's mom.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah.
Who brought me these pants because I think she was horrified to hear about my experience. She's like, what?
A lot of people are shocked to hear about how bad birthing experiences can be.
Right.
And I'm not shocked because I grew up hearing them from you.
True.
So I'm shocked when I hear it goes well.
Right? Me too.
I'm like, what?
You popped that baby out in 6 hours?
So yeah, I think a lot of people are really like extra sympathetic because they're like, I cannot believe that can even happen to a human.
Yes, I think that's how that woman felt for me. Yeah. You poor human.
She was like, oh my gosh. Like,
what can I do besides bring you some chicken? Yeah. I'm going to give you some pants. I'll just never forget sympathy, empathy, and then again from someone I didn't expect.
Yep.
That just struck me. Soft as pants, I'll never forget it.
So
and we talk about it.
It's so inspiring. Like every time I think like I'm gonna do something nice or sweet for somebody, and sometimes I don't. Like just, I mean, no, but you know what I mean? Just like out of convenience or like, oh, writing a letter, go get a stamp. Okay. It does matter. Like just do it.
So I gave you an experience that happened 21 years ago. And yesterday.
You experienced something similar. Yeah.
Just yesterday. Someone anonymously. Dropped off a gift at my mailbox. To brighten my day. Completely unexpected. Complete surprise. And so meaningful. So
I kind of want to just talk a little bit about the whole sympathy and empathy thing because I think that's so important. And I think that's how I have grown a lot in my friendships and relationships and just meeting people in general is once you have gone through hard times, we don't have to talk about all your hard times.
Right.
Okay. We don't have to do that. But knowing, and some people do know you've been through a lot of hard times. And now some people know mine. I don't really talk about it all the time.
Well, no.
I don't know.
Nobody wants that.
But what I've found is that it really makes you a textured person. It makes you...
talk about experience.
It makes you give a different perspective in your mind, and then you can share that with someone else's mind. But I think that it grows you so much as a person.
It should.
And and I think that's one of my favorite things is to meet somebody and have them even share a hard time that they're going through. And I can say, oh my gosh.
Well, it accelerates a relationship.
Yep, it does. And then if I'm able to share something similar or know of someone who's gone through that, then just sharing it. And then I say, hey, I met somebody else who shared this with me. She or he was going through the same thing. Or my family member went through that same thing. I know exactly what it's like on this side of it.
Right.
Or just sharing different perspectives or sharing, I've been there. I know exactly what that feels like after you've had a baby.
It takes a lot of vulnerability to do that and a lot of faith and trust in yourself and the listener.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes.
Because you don't know how someone's going to react to your story.
Right.
You could be judged.
Right.
You could be shamed.
Yep.
You could be pushed away.
So I have a question about that. Why do you think that I am not scared of stuff like that? I kind of maybe have an answer, but I don't.
Why are you not scared of being vulnerable? And why do you
being judged? Why am I? Because I share so much. Like at one point at work, there was a group of like 3 girls, right? And I'm sharing a little bit of my story, my postpartum story. And I shared some details and some thoughts. And one girl I was closer to, the other 2 not so much, right? But then I thought that they don't know me, right? Like they could take this information and automatically have a thought about me that's not accurate.
Right. Yep.
Or
They've
whatever.
Misrepresented you.
Right. And then, but then it didn't bother me. And I was like, why is this not bothering me as much as maybe it should be?
I think the first thing in my mind is maturity.
Okay.
I mean, you've gotten to the point of maturity that you don't really care what people think so much about you anymore.
Okay.
That's part of growing up and getting to be, I don't care. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. And if you don't like me, then we're not meant to be friends.
Yep. And I also thought if they do have those, a thought about me or whatever, they don't know the whole me.
Okay.
So if they wanted to ask or wanted to know the whole me, then they can continue a relationship with me, right?
To ask you.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
I get it.
Maybe. I don't know. But also going through part of the hard times is me moving away from Rochester and then coming back. And I had to deal with knowing that a lot of people were talking about me.
Oh, interesting.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Interesting.
In part of my story, I knew that there were some people who were talking about me.
Okay.
Telling my story without me there. Mm-hmm. And we kind of all do that, right? As people. But I was more aware of that than ever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In the situation I was in.
Yep.
So I had to come to terms with that and go, I have no control over that.
Nope.
The only thing I can do is tell people the story, the truth, if they want to know it.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep.
I can't really worry about
you also were demonstrated parents that went through hard times.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
But
And look at us today.
You're still proud of your life. Like you didn't go through it. You weren't
We
victims.
didn't become victims.
We're not victims. We're not, like we went through like over and over again, like, oh, this happened. Okay, this happened again. Oh, this is still happening. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, it's still happening. And it's still happening. But it's not like, it doesn't like, it doesn't.
It never buried us.
Right.
It just didn't. Nope. Okay. What else do we have?
I want to tell really quick the story.
Okay.
Your Meow Meow Kittens story.
Say that again slower.
Meow Meow Kitten. Meow Meow Kitten.
No, I used to do this.
Oh.
I used to go, meow meow kitten.
Okay, so do you know the first time that you ever did it?
No, I have no idea, but it's my favorite thing to do.
So I remember we were in the hospital.
It goes along with sympathy and empathy.
Yes. We were in the hospital, and I don't know. Dad was in the hospital.
Dad was in the hospital with a back surgery.
Don't ask me
or
what
a
it
blood
was
clot,
for.
Or
it could have been any of
heart
those
attack
things.
or a stroke.
He's had it all.
He's a hospital
He's
veteran.
an experienced hospital patient.
That's part of my hard times. But okay,
so
we're in the hospital. Okay,
we're in the hospital, and it's kind of dark, and I'm young, like I'm like middle school even, probably 6th grade, 7th grade. And whenever Dad was in the hospital bed, you would always try to make him laugh somehow. Like you would try to be like maybe embarrassing or goofy or like be extra Stacey Lee, like whatever it was. Okay. And Dad would always, that's
he calls me the old beater.
The old beater, yeah.
Okay.
And so one day, like I don't know where it came from or why you said it, but you just went up to him and
Dad?
Yeah, just right to Dad. Meow meow kit.
Yep, I did because Dad hates cats. Tom hates cats a lot, and
Dad is like this giant badass of a man, like tough.
Yep.
Just
He
like, not even close to needing any sort of
the least vulnerable person on the planet. My husband, he is Superman.
He's like hard as a rock, in
a hospital gown, vulnerable, down, out of his control, and I just patronizingly. Meow 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 kitten. Meow. That was,
and I was just like, my little 7th grade self was like, "What are you doing? Like that's so funny." And I think I always ask her like, "Where did you hear? Like, what is that from?" You're like, "Oh, I just made it up."
I had no idea because Tom just makes him laugh so hard, and just because that's what cats do, they press on their mommy's tummies to get their milk out. Did you know that?
That's what.
Yes, on the mommy's,
Oh my
area.
God! So that's really what you were trying to do. Oh my God!
I was really.
It's like a whole nother level.
I was really making the paw motions of a little kitty.
Oh my God!
Meow meow.
So
meow meow kitten.
Fast forward to my adult life. I use it now, like often, and like we've used it, in high school too.
You'll be like complaining about nothing. I'll be like, "Oh, meow meow kitten."
Meow, meow, kitten. And my friend Abby and I have now changed it into a verb.
Okay.
Do you need me to meow meow kitten you?
Oh.
Do you need a meow meow kitten? Like
or something more serious?
Yeah, but no. I think we kind of use it now for real. Like when it is a serious thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like I'll be like, and she's like, "Oh, do you need a meow meow kitten? Don't you need you need me to meow meow kitten you?"
Yes.
And I'm like, "Yes, I just need someone to say I'm so sorry. That's so hard." Even though life is good.
Oh, I love that you had that memory because I don't remember the first time I used it, and I will still do it to him now.
It's so funny.
He loves it. That's good.
Yeah. So what should our listeners take away from? What do we want them to take away?
Okay. Boy, we really didn't give a lot of
details.
Well, we didn't give a lot of information. We didn't give any education.
Okay.
Like from your Yale course. We didn't really teach anybody anything.
Are you saying we're not experts in everything that we say? What?
Madison, stop it. Okay, that is not in the musings of a pursuit of a happier life.
I think that's why like that is so good. I can't.
What our mission?
I have no words
sentence?
now. Yeah. Because it's
we
not,
are musing.
we're just musing over the pursuit.
We know nothing.
It's the pursuit. It's not like we don't know anything.
We'll never know.
No.
So no, I don't think there's a takeaway from.
I think the takeaway for me is to just maybe go back. Maybe have a re-experiencing for yourself of a time where you have felt extra empathy from somebody, or you have felt like somebody was really there for you in a sympathetic way.
And then savor that memory or try to act
maybe
on it.
Thank the person or
thank the person.
Or if not possible, maybe try to recreate that for yourself. Maybe be that for somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's like one thing that you were, I really wanted to do that for that person and then I haven't yet, or there's something you need to say to somebody, or if something happens and you, I don't know, something would
seize the day.
Yeah.
Seize the moment.
That's right.
Don't hold back.
That's right. Don't
give it out.
back.
I think that we're good then.
I think so.
Good.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for our listeners.
Yeah, thank you.
To our listeners.
We love getting our words out in front of us.
We sure do.
In front of you.
And thanks for using your ears to take in all of our words.
Yes.
Till next time.
See you in episode 5.
Thanks.